All right, welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're basically going to become cultural detectives. Our mission, to see if we can unpack the entire identity of a whole decade. We're talking the 1980s, using just a handful of questions from a simple online trivia quiz. Let's dive in.
So this is the big question for our explainer today. What if a simple quiz could actually unlock the DNA of a decade? What if the questions someone picks for a trivia night aren't just random facts, but are actually a subconscious collection of everything that made that era, well, tick? We're going to put that theory to the test right now.
And this is our source material, our cultural artifact, if you will. It's a short YouTube quiz from a channel called the Synth Quiz Squad. But we're not here to ace the test. Nope. Instead, we're going to analyze the questions themselves as clues to the heart and soul of the 1980s.
Okay, so this quiz basically hands us 5 key pieces of evidence. And each one, from music to movies to consumer culture, wasn't picked by accident. When you put them all together, they form a perfect little snapshot of the 80s.
First up, let's talk about music. The 80s wasn't just about the songs. It was about the superstars. These larger-than-life figures who dominated MTV and filled up stadiums. And our quiz points us to 2 absolute titans of the era.
And this pairing is just perfect. It really captures the 2 magnetic poles of 80s music. On one side, you have the raw, operatic power of Freddie Mercury. And on the other, you've got the polished, always provocative pop of Madonna, the Material Girl herself. Both of them just embodied that signature 80s maximalism. Their inclusion here, it's no coincidence. They were the soundtrack.
Okay, so from what people were listening to, let's pivot to what they were watching. The quiz also guides us toward these unforgettable moments from film and TV where, let's be honest, everything just felt bigger, bolder, and way more dramatic. Now check this out. The quiz doesn't just ask about the movie Dirty Dancing. It uses this single line. So why? Because it's so much more than a quote. It's a perfect snapshot of the decade's spirit. You've got that earnest romance, that youthful rebellion, that defiant self-worth, all packed into one line that totally transcended the movie itself.
Then there's this piece of evidence. The quiz asks about the A-Team, but describes them kind of bizarrely as a group of teenage detectives. Now, we all know they were commandos for hire, but for our analysis, we have to stick strictly to the source material. And honestly, this quirky little detail doesn't change the fact that the A-Team represents that classic 80s formula: explosive action, clear good guys, and a plan that always comes together.
So we have music, film, and TV covered. But the quiz gives us one more icon. And this one isn't a person or a show. It's an object. An object that perfectly captures the decade's aspirations and its consumer-driven identity.
Yeah, I know, Barbie was created way back in 1959, but the quiz is absolutely right to place her here as an 80s icon. Why? Because the 80s is when she became a true powerhouse. Think about it, the power suits, the big hair, the endless careers. 80s Barbie was the literal embodiment of the you-can-have-it-all mentality, a plastic icon for an era of ambition and material dreams.
Okay, so let's take a step back and look at all the evidence from our little quiz. We've got rock gods, pop queens, rebellious dancers, action heroes, and a fashion doll. So, what do they all have in common? What's the pattern here that tells us why these specific icons are the ones that endure? Well, it seems to come down to a 3-part recipe. Think about it. Every single figure from the quiz fits this perfectly. You need a larger-than-life persona. You need to have a genre-defining impact. And you have to embody the spirit of the era. Every single one of our examples did this. It's basically the formula for cultural immortality.
So the creator of that quiz, whether they even realized it or not, didn't just pick 5 random facts. They chose the perfect pillars of our collective 80s memory. They basically isolated the decade's cultural DNA for us. And that leaves us with a final thought. If we look at the pop culture landscape of our own time, the musicians, the streaming shows, the memes, the brands, which ones truly fit that formula? Which ones are just popular for a moment, and which ones will be the answers to a trivia quiz in 2050? It really makes you wonder. Thanks for watching.